Okay, so similar to the head up piece of advice, a lot of people say keep your eyes looking at the ball, keep your head really still. Again, this is a real misunderstanding, and it causes problems with the swing when people misunderstand and try and fix it in the wrong way. So golf is so different to say tennis or squash, especially something like a sport like tennis is probably the best example. When you're playing tennis, you're moving, your opponent's moving, the ball's spinning, and you're constantly having to evaluate basically sort of where the ball's going to land, what type of spin it's got on, where you're going to stand, and where your opponent is and where you're going to hit it. So if you don't watch the ball in sports like tennis or squash, then you're useless, because it's just a sort of absolute must. Golf's very, very different. The ball's still, you're still when you start off, you've got the added sort of bonus that you can get your setup right each time, so you can get your distance from the ball exactly the same, the ball position in relation to your stance exactly the same, and your posture, so you're in control of all that. And then when you swing, what your aim is just to make a repeatable swing that returns back to that spot each time, not to keep your eyes looking at the ball. So what a lot of people do, again similar to the head up sort of thought we were talking about, what they end up doing when they keep trying to keep looking at the ball is they just keep very still with their body and they don't really follow through. Whereas, as we mentioned earlier, you must make yourself follow through to sort of hit a is that if you try and keep your head too still, you often restrict the turn that's needed for a really good swing. So on the backswing, what you see, if you look closely, especially at the best players, what you see is that as they get to the top of the backswing, they allow their head to turn very slightly. And what that does is it allows them to turn their shoulders a little bit further. If you keep your head still, or for most people, if they keep their head still, they can't turn much further than that, which isn't enough. So instead, you should try and feel as though as you go back, you allow your head to turn very slightly, and then that way it allows the shoulders to turn that little bit further, which makes it so much easier to hit a good shot. And then on the way through, again, it's like we said before, judging the depth of the contact and feeling where you've got to hit the grass, and then allowing yourself to really through. It's not a case of keeping looking at the ball. As an extreme example to sort of hammer home this point, if you think of two of the best golfers that you'll ever see, David Duval, Open champion, Ryder Cup player, as he hit the ball he was like that. Annika Sorenstam, again unbelievable player, as she hit the ball she was like that. So not only were they not looking at the ball, their head was actually looking half towards the target at the point of strike, at the point of impact. And again, all the top players, you'll see them in this full follow-through position, and yet people often ignore all that and try and keep watching the ball. They try and watch the club head hit the ball. Now, I'm not saying that you should intentionally look away, but my experience is that when people have been playing golf for just a short period of time, it's not instinctive for them to look away from the ball. It's instinctive for them to lift it or steer it or things like that. But don't try and keep your head still. As you go back, allow your head to turn slightly so that you can turn your shoulders properly, brush the grass and follow right through.